Hello, Power Tribe. I'm Murray Dewick,
And I'm Tricia Warren.
and you're listening to Samuel's Mantle Podcast. If you're spiritually sensitive, have dreams or visions, we're here to help you discover you're not crazy. You're probably actually hearing from God.
And when you're hanging out with us, we will help you connect with Jesus, feel his heart, hear his voice, and make sense of the ways you've been hearing from him.
Through practical tools, heartfelt teaching, you will discover that connecting to God is actually your superpower. He has gifted you with the power of the Holy Spirit to connect.
So let's jump in and grow in experiencing him like never before. Welcome back, everybody, to today's show, which is called Back to the Future.
Is this dream about your past, your present, or your future? So, a good symbol of effervescing, everybody. That inner flow of the river of life. Sometimes when we learn the language of God, we get some more of that flow. So we're going to work on flow right here. So we have started by talking about counseling dreams. There's 30 different types of dreams. And again, the main dream most people get is if you're the main character in your dream, the dream is mainly about you. And those would be dreams of God giving you counsel or counseling sometimes too. And so we're going over the 3 rules of 3. Last week we did the first one. Is a dream biblical, cultural, or personal? Today we're doing number 2. A dream can be past, present, or future. And of course, there's one more. It can be about you, about other people, or about, prophetic. You're just seeing and it's about what you're seeing. But we'll do that next week. But for today, rule number 2. Is a dream about your past? Is it about your present? Isn't it about your future? And I guess I'll give you an example. Past. And this is one that most people don't take into consideration when they have a dream. And unfortunately, I think with most Christians, if they listen to dreams at all, they're always thinking this always has to be future. And most dreams, again, I think are mostly present, and we'll get to that. But past. Sometimes if God is bringing resolution to you from something that happened in your past, he's going to bring up things that were like that. So emotions, sometimes you got to ask, have I felt this? What's happening in this dream? Have I felt this before? What happened in this dream? Have I ever gone through this in my past? So I'll give you an example. I'm at a conference and I'm hanging out with the pastors and leaders, and there's a guy that's a worship leader there. And he comes up to me and says, "Hey, I hear you do dream interpretation." I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, could you help me with this dream?" Sure. So here's the dream. In the dream, I'm on a big airplane, 747. And the pilot is this head of this Christian organization, big global Christian organization. He's the pilot. And I'm sitting in the back. And we start to hit some turbulence. And the pilot, this fellow who runs this organization, says, "Hey, everyone, we're just going through some turbulence. Everything's going to be okay in a few minutes." And then he walks by wearing a parachute and jumps out of the plane. And we're like, "What's going on?" And it starts to nosedive. It starts to crash, right? You can hear that sound. It's going. He runs up front, sits into the pilot seat, and he grabs the handle and he starts pulling back. He's pulling back. And just at the last second, it gets the nose up and he belly flops. It rips the landing gear off and a wing, but everybody survives. He goes, "What do you think that means? What's going to happen now?" I'm like, "Well, what's just happened?" It goes, "Oh, the last couple of years of my life, I was with this ministry with this guy, and it got bumpy, and he quit and he bailed on us." Oh, colloquial expression, wordplay. Quit the ministry, and I had to take over, and I had to try to keep it all together and not destroy it. So what happened? Well, we survived, but I had to get out of there. He goes, "Isn't that your dream's not talking about your future? It's talking about what you just experienced over the last 2 years of your life, because God wants to bring healing to you there. And he wants you to show you that you actually landed that thing and you did a great job. That dream's not about what's coming. It's about what you've been through, because God wants you to know you did a good job and he's going to take that trauma out of your soul."
Oh, what a great example of a dream
Yeah.
talking about your past. I love it. So part of the second set of 3 rules of 3 is also about present dreams and future dreams. And so for that, and I alluded to this last week, we have a special guest we're bringing on because I kind of, I talked about his dream a little bit last week.
Yeah, we threw him under the bus last week, so he's here
Yeah.
out of sheer guilt.
Yes. So we had already planned to bring him though.
Trisha's guilt, not his guilt.
Yeah, so I want to introduce Bruce Warren. He is, well, my partner, my husband, and he's also a part-time pastor of Catch the Fire Okanagan and looking for work. I had to add that because that's only part-time.
And a part of Samuel's mantle too.
Yeah, oh, of course. And he is a part of Samuel's Mantle. He runs the technical side of things. So welcome, Bruce.
Oh, you mean I'm live now? I'm allowed to speak now?
Yes, you are.
Fantastic. Okay. What did I get dragged into? What?
Well, we talked a lot last week about your dream you had, which at first you thought was prophetic. And then after we
Yep.
talked about it, you realized it wasn't prophetic, which is a common thing that happens with a lot of people. They just assume their dream is prophetic. And
Sure.
really 5% of our dreams are prophetic. And so Murray, you're gonna start this one, right?
Yeah, I just because you guys had this dialogue, so about you thinking it was prophetic, and Trisha's like, actually, it's not. So I just want you to share the dream and maybe have Trish go, how did you guys work that out from thinking what you thought the dream type was to how you discovered what it was? Bruce, share the dream, and then you guys talk about how you work that out, because people out there
Sure.
will be doing that with their own dreams too, right? So
Perfect. All right,
Yeah.
go ahead, Bruce.
Okay, so this happened right on Christmas. Must have been like the morning of Christmas 2025. So just like a couple of weeks ago. And in the dream, I owned a Mazda car, which I put in brackets so I knew it was a Japanese manufacturer. And I was walking away from this car at a mall. And you know how you push the fob to as you're walking away to lock your car. Well, as I was pushing the fob, the car wouldn't lock because the windows were up. And so for some reason on this particular thing, it wouldn't do that. So I tried to close the windows, but my windows kept going up and down.
oh, you mean
and I tried to,
okay, so they're going down,
So-
and you're trying to get them up.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
trying to, it's got to be secured in order to click it. So the windows were down and I was trying to get them up and they kept going. It just was frustrating. And as I'm doing this, I all of a sudden I realize there's another guy or another person standing beside me with a remote control, looking as perplexed as me, going, "What's going on here?" And what in my dream, I kind of figured out that he had a similar car and his remote was conflicting with mine, and he was controlling my car, and so back and forth. And then all of a sudden, in this dream, the car just disappears and goes poof, and it's gone. And I'm looking stunned, and he's looking stunned. But it switches immediately to where the dealership got involved with this because it was a relatively new car or a brand new car. And they were sending someone over to replace this car because this had never happened. They'd never had a car just go poof and disappear. So it was a loaner coming. And as the guy pulled up, it was one of the guys from the dealership pulled up. He pulled up in a supercar. So if you don't know what a supercar is, it's one of those ones that's really beefed up. There's versions of Mercedes and Japanese cars that are basic, and then they go all out, and $200,000 later, you have a supercar, right? So this car was like a sports car that it only had 2 seats in the front. And it was kind of interesting because I looked in the back and there was like 2 or 3 seats like facing the opposite direction in the back of this car, kind of like the old rumble seats from the 50s, right? And in the back was this high-powered stereo system, and I thought, well, that's really cool. But I didn't get to drive the car. The salesman was coming like to pick me up, and he drove this car like a maniac, and he was driving through the mall to the other side of the mall. And I remember in the dream, I'm going, boy, this guy is really confident of his driving. I wasn't scared, but he drove really fast. And then we arrived safely at the dealership on the other side of the mall to do the paperwork to get my new car. And then the dream ended. So there you have it.
Wow. Packed full of symbols. Now, originally when Bruce told me this dream, you were kind of studying stuff on Japan, right? And just what's going on in the world market. Not that you want to go into details, but why did you think this might be a prophetic dream instead of a personal dream?
Well, exactly that, because of what was happening with the interest rates and what's called the carry trade. I was studying that and looking at the effects of what would happen if the Japanese introduced an increase in their interest rate, which they did. And so I just thought, oh, Japanese car, Japan, the market, and then disappeared. I thought, oh, okay, there's something going to happen to the Japanese, blah, blah, blah. I just went through the symbolism and thought it had to do with more like a global something or else
Right.
happening. And
Which is a common thing that happens when people have a
Yeah,
dream.
everybody
They
does
look
that.
outward instead of inward. And then I
sure.
started to ask you some questions like, what would this symbolize to you? Like this remote control that's not working.
Yeah.
What would you think now that that might mean?
Well, yeah, you pointed out because in my job search, I'm looking for work that is remote. So it was like then you pointed
Bum,
out the
bum,
remote in
bum.
my hand, which is, it's like so obvious, but except for me. Um, and then looking at, something that I was trying to close and this other guy was trying to open. And so you went and
Mm.
go, okay, what are you trying to close off that's not getting closed? And who's doing, and then we also drew the symbol that maybe it was Jesus with the other remote and he kept opening the windows and I kept trying to close the windows. We're still in discovery on this dream because some of the symbolism has not panned out yet fully, but it's still extremely interesting. And then the supercar, we eventually determined the blessing of that dream was that I had gotten an upgrade because it wasn't clear that the supercar wasn't mine. It was like, okay, this sounds really great. I would like this supercar as my replacement.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
back to
all the
the
symbolism.
remote part when you were going up and
Yeah.
down. Let's maybe
All right.
talk about how that made you feel in the dream. Like when you were trying to close the window and
Well,
then it kept opening. How did that make you feel?
yeah, frustrated, which is exactly what I was going through and still quasi am going through in my life with just having, the symbolism of cars being career, maybe or ministry kind of thing, that I've had a change in my career at the beginning of last year or mid last year, and things kept closing on me and there was things that kept opening, like there's a lot of symbolism in the closing and opening and the timing of that. So
And how did it make you feel?
well, frustrated, didn't I say frustrated? Did
Yeah,
I
yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
dream and in real life, right?
And in real life, yeah,
Yeah.
very, very frustrating in this market. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and then go ahead, Murray.
Well, I was going to say, just for everybody watching, remember when we worked last week on that dream by Christina, where in your life do you feel? That's sometimes how you can find out if a dream is a counseling dream. You look at the feelings in the dream. As Trish just did, you ask a bridging question. Where in your life? Bridging question. Do you, the dream you felt like this? Where in your life do you feel that? Oh, and Bruce just was like looking for work right now. And word colloquial expression, wordplay. Um, the remote control. He's looking to work remotely. Bum bum bum. See those two right there. They're right there in Bruce's dream.
Yeah, very cool. And then I guess some of the other symbolisms, just in your walk, we talked about that as well, Bruce, where some jobs you thought for sure you were going to get them slam dunk, and then they just didn't happen.
disappeared.
They
Yeah.
disappeared, right? And which
Oof.
kind of
Yeah.
was the feeling you got in the dream is like the car, all of a sudden, you're frustrated, and all of a sudden, like it just disappeared. Great opportunities
Yeah.
you thought were yours, right?
Yeah, and even the primary thing, you can put that into layers because
Yeah.
that job that did disappear was an awesome job at the beginning in the city where we're at, and having it just go poof, like literally it went poof within a few months of some changes at the company that I was working for, and so that led to a lot of frustration as well too. So
Mhm.
So everybody here a dream. The other thing is, I think biblical. Is there a biblical symbolism here? Well, possibly that verse that says God can open a door that
Ah,
no
right.
man can shut, which could be this window thing. Bruce is like, that Lord says, no, we're not done with this yet. We're just going to
He's
keep
like,
yeah,
you
reading.
can just see Jesus is trying to open it, Bruce is trying to shut it, Jesus is trying to open it.
yeah. It's too bad I didn't,
Uh,
tackle that other guy in the dream. It would be like, stop that. It's like go over
yeah.
and tackle him. It'd be fighting with Jesus. It'd be funny.
So everyone, that's one way. How do you find if it's a counseling dream? You're the main character, and then you look at your emotions. Where do you feel that anywhere? You look at the people or objects, colloquial expression and wordplay, and working remotely. Uh, and but often in a dream, there is a prophetic part. Okay. And so a first part of this dream is basic counseling dream, right? Here's how you're feeling. Here's what's going on. And kind of once the Lord spells that out, the next part of the dream, here's what I'm going to do for you. And then this is pretty typical, right? Often near the end of a dream, there's a promise, a blessing, a gift, a teaching. Even if it's a bad dream, how often do you get chased by somebody, but you actually escape? Well, that's the blessing, isn't it? I mean, that happens most of the time. So, but there's a blessing in here. So let's talk about that. And Trish and I are going to work this through with Bruce because this is a recent dream. And he's already figured it out. It's the car, right? It's pretty obvious. It's that car.
The new one, yes.
But again,
The supercar.
he hasn't gotten into it yet. He just by faith he kind of sees it. He's not in the driver's seat yet, right? But it's coming. So the language we like to use when we're working on the dream, we like to use this language is if this was my dream, this is what it would mean to me, or from my point of view, or from my perspective. Because again, when we're working on the dream, we're pulling it out of our own personal experience. Like, Bruce wanting a supercar and Trish wanting a supercar, I probably would think would be completely different responses, right? Because, a supercar, we can interview, Bruce, what do you think of supercars? Why do you like them? What do they mean to you?
Oh, you want my answer to that?
Yeah, why not? That's a bridging
sure.
question.
It would just be fun. I mean, it's I also have been influenced by Trish to think very practically, because then she would go, I can read Trish's mind. She would go, I just need a car that goes from point A to point B, and it's got to be reliable.
Yep.
So to me, like getting from point A to point B, and if I can shave 20 seconds off that'd be fantastic in a nice, safe way. It would be. But I don't, in essence, there is a bit of a drop there, because I don't actually fantasize about getting a Porsche or anything like that. I did when I was way younger, but it's kind of like, does every guy want to go drive a Porsche around a track? Of course they do. I mean, I don't know anybody that wouldn't want to go drive a Maserati or something around a controlled track and go as fast as they possibly could,
Yeah, and that's a cultural symbol, everybody, because like Bruce said, every guy would love that, right?
Yeah.
So that's
me.
like a cultural symbol, isn't it? So what Trish and I are going to do here, and Bruce can do this too. We can throw thoughts. We're going to just ponder what could all be all the blessings and promises here, right? What could they be? And
Sure.
so when you look at a dream, and it's really hard to do this on your own dreams at first, you really got to take a pen and a piece of paper and sit down and take notes. So one, the dealership is giving this to him. He doesn't have to do it. It's being given, right? Number two, the rumble seats in the back. That's so intentional. Why is that there? And because you could put other people in there, right? That's Bruce is going to be driving it, but why are those seats there? And the gifting that is going to be coming to Bruce, he's going to be able to take people along, right? This isn't
With
just
a
about
really
his
good
journey.
sound system.
Yeah, but and everybody got to realize, Bruce, you probably don't know this. Bruce is a sound man. He's got this incredible ear. This is what he does for a living. And this car has an incredible sound system. What does that mean to you, Bruce? That it wouldn't mean to an average person, having an incredible sound system.
I mean, even in the car we did the upgrade just to get the Bose sound system, just because, it would just be that much higher, and it's that much better driving down the road. So absolutely. Yeah.
You would hear things so much more clearly.
Yeah, exactly.
So whatever gift is coming for Bruce, he's going to hear it with so much more clarity and maybe volume too. So like Jay's truck, I have a pretty nice truck. I think it's a nice truck, but Jay's little truck she just got has a Bose sound system in it. And I just love taking it out down the road because the bass in that thing is just incredible. I just take her truck just to listen to music in it. Like,
that's awesome. Yeah. And then I was thinking like it's a supercar. It's not just, you're not just getting a regular, the dealership, they realize, well, this has never happened before. They're like, we're going to fix this, and we're going to fix it beyond your expectations, right? Which if that was my dream, that means I'm going to get something back from the Lord that goes beyond
Mm,
my expectations, like
yeah.
something really special.
Mm.
If
Yeah.
that's what my dream, it would mean that.
Yeah.
So I'll just throw it. So again, if it was my dream, so we're a prophetic thing. We're just going to listen. I kind of prophesy right here, and we don't know. This hasn't come true yet. We'll tell you when it does, everybody.
Right.
But
Would you
but
call it a present future dream? It's kind of like it's
yeah,
still,
Yes. Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
And this fits our talk today, right? Past, but also present, future. And so I would say, Bruce, that the gifting coming to you, that there's going to be this upgrade, right? An upgrade in your gifting. And it's your ability to walk with the Lord, but it's not also just your ability. Like the reason the rumble seats are facing backwards, if it was my dream, is that you're going to be able, because of what you've gone through in this last period of time, you're going to be able to have people come with you on a journey so they can look backwards and see where they've come from now,
Mm.
because you've learned how to do it and find God on the journey, and you can help them see as you start into this gifting. And these people will start to hear clearly because that's the sound system here. And
Interesting.
yeah. So if that was my dream, but so again, you look at the last part of the dream and go, wow, there's a gift and a promise.
And I feel like there's a play on the word rumble seat because you think
there's got to be somewhere.
sound rumble,
Rumble,
right?
you're right.
Yeah. So there's something about that too. It's about the sound.
Interesting.
There's got to be a Bible verse on this somewhere about rumble or God's voice being like thunder. Rumble, does it say rumble in Revelation? Rumbles and peals of thunder?
That's a good question. We should ask our listeners. You should please message us and let us know what you discover because that would be great.
That's
But
got to
yeah,
be.
it's
Rumble
got to be in
seat,
there.
music
Rumbles,
system.
yeah, it's got to be in there.
That was definitely a perplexing part of the dream, was why it was facing backwards. I mean, I get the idea, but even on a supercar, most of them are only two-seaters. Like we
Right.
have friends that have one, and we can't go anywhere with them unless we take two cars, because they just have the two seats, and then the engine usually takes up that back portion, typically on a lot of supercars. So
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
very cool.
absolutely. Wait, that word is in the Bible, using
It
thunder
is, okay.
or roar for symbol of
Thunder,
concepts, but
lightning, roaring.
divine power. Sorry, cat just knocked my headphones out of my ears here.
It's usually his voice is like rumbling. It's like thunder, right? And with
That's right. It says divine power and voice. Listen closely to the rumble of his voice, the roar issuing from his mouth. Job
Ooh.
37. Judgments and majesty, flashing of light, and rumblings and peals of thunder. Cool.
interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of verses on that because you got a car that rumbles too. The car rumbles, supercar.
Mm-hmm.
The back seat rumbles, and
Has
the
a
music
rumble
rumbles.
seat
Like
and
that.
the music. Yeah, that's very
intentional.
symbolic. So, and it's a
Interesting, yeah.
supercar. It's way better than your other car. So now, after all this, do you see that it's not a prophetic dream, right?
See, I'm stubborn enough to think that there might be a multi-layered thing, because
Of course.
this whole Japanese carry trade is still ongoing. It's present,
Okay.
future. So to
Well,
me, I'm
sometimes-
still analyzing it. So,
But sometimes God takes what you're researching and he turns the symbolism of it into a dream just
Sure.
for you. That's
Yeah.
what I think. But yeah, you might be right.
Well, it can be both, right? I mean, there's
It
that
can be
famous
both,
story
yes.
of the guy in Jerusalem has a dream. He goes to 5 different dream interpreters, get 5 interpretations, and they all come true, right?
So yeah, so definitely that can happen.
But you look at Peter in Acts 10, right? He's hungry, and he goes up to sleep on the rooftop, and he has a dream about eating. So often God does take what we're thinking and pondering and go, okay, you're thinking about this. You got some emotional investment here. Let me use that as a symbol in your life. That happens quite a bit. So,
Very cool. Well, thank you,
Interesting.
Bruce, for sharing your dream with us and our viewers.
anytime.
I'm sure everyone might have some interpretations for you too, and we welcome them.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
and we'll bring you back on when we see what happens here a little bit more. 'cause that's
for
pretty
sure.
cool.
Very sure.
Sounds
very
good.
great. Okay, thanks.
So, Bruce, I think God's final statement to you would be, are you ready to rumble?
Oh dear.
There you go. That would be colloquial expression and wordplay, everybody. If you know, I just lifted that from All Star Wrestling. So, bum, bum, bum.
All right. Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, Bruce.
See you later. Bye.
Well, everybody, there you go. There's a past, right? And there is a dream with present and future. And you can find that in your own dreams because God wants to be involved in what you're thinking about, what you're feeling, what you're going through, and then give you promises and blessings of what he's going to do. If we just listen and pay attention to the dreams that we dream, which again is the title of the book. If you want to work more on that, there you go. You can find that on Amazon or our website.
Great. Well, and thank you everybody for tuning in this week, and we will see you next week. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you have rated and reviewed the show, that means so much to us. Your heartfelt feedback always reminds us why we do this. And hey, let's stay connected. Hop over to the website where we have some free gifts for you to learn just how prophetic you are. Find them at samuelsmantle.com.
And if you'd like to get access to the vault where we keep all the good stuff, you can become a partner on the website as well. Remember, encountering God is your superpower by the power of the Holy Spirit. Keep leaning in, and we'll catch you next week.